Now, new fast-track surgical hubs are being set up across the capital, hospitals, to help with the backlog of routine operations due to the pandemic. More than 25,000 Londoners are now set to wait more than a year for their planned treatment. Our correspondent Carl Mercer has been to one of the first centres to open.
Just take the dressing off, get a free waxing with it. There we go. And very, very nice. I haven't actually counted the staples. No, you can count them if you want.
We did. There were 22. This afternoon, Andy Hamer was having them out, 2 weeks after having a knee replacement. The sort of operation thousands of Londoners are waiting for, with many cancelled due to COVID.
It's quite upsetting to think that so many people are, in pain and waiting for this surgery, and they just can't do anything about it.
So do you feel lucky to have got it?
I feel extremely lucky, yeah, I do, yeah.
Andy is a nurse at Whipps Cross Hospital and was drafted into the intensive care wards when COVID struck, but knows what it's like to have to wait for surgery.
It is the last chance saloon, isn't it, surgery? And if you're in a lot of pain and you're waiting for surgery, and then you find you can't have that surgery and you have to wait months and months and you just don't know when it's going to happen, emotionally, psychologically, it can affect you just as well as physically.
Andy was seen here on the Newham Hospital site, one of a number of specialist centres being set up across London to cope with a massive backlog of planned operations.
Patients get very frustrated, understandably, that they've had to wait longer than they expected, and we're equally frustrated. But the message today is we're open for business. We want to encourage patients to come here. We can do this safely. And we want to build up those numbers higher and higher. Week on week we've been doing more operations, and we want to continue to do that.
Back in January, fewer than 500 patients were waiting more than 52 weeks for an operation. That number now has risen to more than 25,000.
The amount of planned surgery that we were able to do in London in April and in May was 17% of what we normally do at that time of year. And that means we've built up big backlogs of patients who are waiting for surgery. And if you were to say to me, Vin, what are you most concerned about as the medical director for London? I'm actually more worried about that than I am about COVID.
Here they're now doing 100 hip and knee operations a week for patients across North East London. There's much catching up to do for people just like Andy. Carl Mercer, BBC London.